Now that we know our Expert Advisor is working as intended, let's proceed with the final test. TradeAllBars stop loss version on a Euro-Japanese yen pair and a period of 15 minutes. I will use the spread of 30, which is higher what I usually get with my broker, to account for any occasional spread widening. We'll use the every tick modeling method, which is the most precise one, and we'll test the Expert Advisor on a period of 1 month, that is 1st until 30th of April. We'll also switch on the optimization for this Expert Advisor, and if we go to Expert Properties, you'll see that we'll test or optimize all three of the external parameters. The bars scanned parameter will start at value 2 and increase by 2 every step until it reaches 24. So there will be really 12 distinct possibilities in here, right? The same thing we'll do for profit taking. We'll start at 20, increase it by 20 every combination until it reaches 400, and the same for stop loss. So overall we'll test almost 5,000 distinct possibilities or combinations of these three parameters. Now for the testing, in the testing tab I have switched off the genetic algorithm, which basically speeds up the process a lot by eliminating those possibilities that the algorithm deems as not viable. So it will, for example, judge whether a given combination is in a neighborhood of losing combinations, and then it will not test it, because as you will see in the results, the combinations are not totally random, they are grouped, more or less. And we will start with a deposit of $400 to account for, well, practically the smallest account you probably will have when testing or playing around with automated trading or any sort of trading, to be honest, in Forex. In the optimization tab, we'll not select anything, so there will be no limitations from this side, and yeah, and that's it. So let's see how it fares. So now our test has finished with almost 5,000 combinations tested. Let's go into the optimization graph and see what we have here. On the x-axis you can see the take profit values, and on the y-axis the stop loss values. So you can see that most of the profitable values were between 100 and 180 points for the take profit values. There was also a very narrow band of profitable solutions for higher take profit, but that's with a stop loss values of between 20 and 60. Surprisingly, the level of stop loss overall does not seem to have a big impact on the results. The values represented by the y-axis, and as you can see, the profitable results are spread throughout that y-axis, except for the higher take profit values. If we switch the y-axis to the bars scanned, the picture is not so clear anymore. But we can see that most of the profitable combinations were around 6 to 12 mark in here, and also at the very top 20 to 24, but for a rather lower take profit values. So we now know that the lower take profit values is where we were going to go. Probably the higher bars scanned values would also be advisable. And this is even better visible if we change the x-axis to the stop loss values. Then we can see clearly that most of the profitable solutions for bar scan is between 20 and 24, especially 22, 24, and also for value number 10. For very low take profit values, this is spread more evenly. So does that mean that we now should start testing this EA on, say, just the highest take profit value and start testing it on our demo account? Well, not exactly, because now we have to make sure that these parameters are also good for other periods. So what we will do now is we will first save this, save this as a report. This will be report number 3 for me. And this is what you get automatically when you generate the report with all these data, what you tested, what was the method for testing, initial deposit, and the spread. I took a bit higher spread than I actually have just for the testing purposes. So in reality, if the data is accurate, these values should be a bit better. Then we copy everything. I'll copy it to my Excel sheet, which I have prepared. As you can see already in here, I have it here, so that I can generate models, 3D models like that, to better see what kind of layout we have for our data. These values represent, of course, the loss. These profits, of course, the profit. Now, it should be you should remember that this is only for, because it's a 3D chart, it only represents 2 values. In this case, bar scan and stop loss. Were I to take, for example, profit take and stop loss, and put them in here, if I redraw the chart looks completely different. And of course, there are some combinations which are duplicated simply because the bar scanned parameter will be different, but these two will be the same. So this chart represents the best possible value for a given combination of profit taking and stop loss, and the bar scan is sort of optimized. So for a given combination of profit taking and stop loss, the best value from bar scan is chosen to represent the best combination. But again, we can see this is the profit taking, that lower values of profit taking are favorable. Now I ran this EA for pound yen as well. When checking the results for March, it turns out that neither of our combinations generated a profit. That means that whatever settings we would have chosen, this EA would bring loss because of its float trading concept. In other words, this strategy does not work. However, when I ran the initial optimization, I did it on a previous version of our EA, where a delay of 1 was hard-coded into the new bar function. I took a look at the results for March for pound yen, and this is what came out. So let's see if any of the results were profitable, greater than 0. It turns out that we had 9 results, 9 combinations which generated a profit. Apparently a low value of delay works better for this one. So I decided to run a reduced backtest of 2700 passes for April on the same pair and the same configuration of EA. And these are the results. Let's filter the profits again. And greater than 0. And there it is. We can see that there is a lot of profitable solutions. In fact, over 860 for the reduced test. Unbelievably big profits. So then I ran it again, the same Expert Advisor for April, this time with a full 4800 passes optimization, no genetic algorithm, no shortcuts. And these are the results. So let's filter them again, see if there were any profitable, and of course there were. But this time, because we had 4,800 passes, a total number of profitable solutions were over 1,800. 1,822 profitable solutions. If we apply the top 10 filter in here, we'll see that again over 200% profit in 1 month for top 10 results and over 1,800 profitable solutions. Now we have to check if any of the profitable configurations for March were also profitable in April. So what we have to do is, let's maybe sort the 3 columns, profit taking, loss stopping, and bars scanned, so that they display the same kind of results. This way, since the test set is identical for both of them, each line will show the same configuration on both sheets. Then we can create a function which will check if the results are positive in both March and April and display the sum if they were profitable. We'll code it later on into a VBA macro if the solution proves to be a good method. So let's remove the filter in here and let's apply the sorting. So we'll first sort by profit taking, then first by bars scanned as they go, then by profit taking, and then by loss stopping. So all of the parameterized inputs that we have, we'll sort on these. And we have already done the same thing for our previous run for March. So now, any line in both runs will present the identical solution. Let's say line 11 should be 220-200 for run 8. So let's go to line 11, 220-200. And if we go further down, let's say line 1568 is 8, 380 and 140. So 1568, 8, 380 and 140. The same parameters. So now we can create a function which will check if in a given line the profits for both runs is above 0 and return the total profit for both months in the column next to the last one. We'll also, for making it easier, we'll also create a function which will return the profit of previous run in this column if it was above 0, so if it was profit and not a loss. So that we can quickly compare and double check if this value here adds up against data. So this is the formula, and for the summing the profits and checking if they are consistent, and this is the one which just returns the profit from the previous run. So now we can quickly filter out any combinations which generated consistent results throughout both months. And if we do that and filter out the loss, it turns out there is a couple. So guys, that may just be it. We found 4 parameters for an expert advisor which were profitable in 2 months in a row. But let's not get excited too much yet. There's still a long way to go. So let's run those numbers again and see if the results are actually reproducible. So if those parameters generate the profits as they should. So let's go to our expert advisor backtester here. We have the stop loss function load. We have the pound Japanese yen. We have the 15-minute time frame. So let's, for example, test the first one, 1860.40 on March. So let's go 1860.40, right? So bar scanned 18, profit taking 60, bar scanned 80, and profit taking 60, stop loss 40. Good. Let's then run it. Well, we need to speed it up a bit, of course. and the report says it's a 20 profit, 20 profit. So our previous result was 1981 for March. So that's close enough. Of course, there will be some discrepancies because the simulation of the ticks is only about 90% accurate. So we may get some discrepancies, but we can see this is correct. So let's see if we get the same result for April. Starting 1st of April and finishing at 30th of April, because this is the set that we used. And again, start the Expert Advisor. And let's see the report, 57.73, while our report recorded 58, so practically on the spot. Good. So let's check all the numbers and see if, make sure that these parameters actually produce the same results. It turns out that after verification, the numbers for two solutions did not match. So this solution returned a negative number, and this solution for March, and for April this solution returned also a negative number. Not sure why that is. I suppose this was due to the problems with the data simulation, perhaps, especially this is a very frequently trading expert advisor. Or perhaps something has changed between when I did this test and now. So we will not take these two into consideration because they're just not certain. Also, the result for this one was much higher than 145, but we'll assume that if it's above 0, it's good. So now we are left with two solutions which were consistently profitable in March and in April. We have made for sure profits. We would have made profits with this EA in March and in April if we stick to these parameters. But guys, if you are running to your broker to fund your account with mortgage money and you want to throw it all in on this robot, I suggest you hold your horses. Unfortunately, the 2 periods is not enough. In March there were 9 profitable solutions, only 2 of which we can reasonably assume generated profitable results in April. If you imagine it's March the 30th, you don't know which of the 9 will be profitable in April. So stick around for the next episode where we'll see if either of the configurations for the TradeAllBars Expert Advisor version 2 will yield profits in another period, thus proving it useful. Till that time, trade well and prosper.